In the volatile Horn of Africa, a new rivalry is brewing as Eritrea and Egypt forge closer military ties, sending shockwaves through the region. Ethiopia, already facing internal challenges, now sees a deliberate strategy to contain its influence, with old grudges and new ambitions converging. High-level meetings and military cooperation between Eritrea and Egypt threaten to redraw the region's security map, alarming Addis Ababa. This story is about power, water, and geography, a classic regional competition where the line between defense and offense is dangerously thin. As we unpack this alliance, we'll explore the historical grievances, strategic interests, and possible futures for these three powerful African nations. To truly understand the tension simmering in the Horn of Africa today, we must look back at the long and bitter history between Ethiopia and Eritrea, a history marked by struggle, sacrifice, and deep-seated mistrust. The roots of their rivalry stretch back decades, shaping the destinies of both nations and leaving a legacy that still haunts the present. Eritrea's 30-year war for independence from Ethiopia, which ended in 1991, was one of Africa's longest and most grueling conflicts. The hope for peace that followed was short-lived. In 1998, a brutal border war erupted, shattering dreams of cooperation and leaving behind a trail of devastation, loss, and enduring suspicion on both sides. The scars of that conflict run deep, affecting generations. The Algiers Agreement, signed in 2000, officially ended open hostilities. Yet, the peace was fragile. For nearly 2 decades, a heavily militarized and hostile border remained, dividing families and communities. Both countries poured resources into their militaries, fueling proxy wars in the region and draining their economies, while the shadow of renewed conflict loomed constantly overhead. In 2018, a glimmer of hope emerged. Ethiopia's new Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, reached out to Eritrea, seeking to end decades of hostility. The world watched as the two leaders embraced, and celebrations erupted on both sides of the border. Abiy's efforts earned him the Nobel Peace Prize, and for a moment, it seemed as if a new era of reconciliation and cooperation might finally dawn. However, the optimism was short-lived. Ethiopia's renewed push for access to the Red Sea has reignited old suspicions in Asmara. Eritrea, wary of its larger neighbor's intentions, fears a return to the days of Ethiopian dominance and expansionism. The fragile trust built in recent years has begun to erode once again. The wounds of past wars never fully healed. As Ethiopia's ambitions grow and the geopolitical landscape shifts, Eritrea is seeking new alliances and strengthening its defenses, determined to protect its hard-won independence. The region remains on edge, with old grievances threatening to spark new confrontations. The ghosts of past conflicts linger in every border town and every diplomatic meeting, shaping the choices of leaders and the hopes of ordinary people. In the Horn of Africa, history is never far behind, and today it is once again shaping the region's uncertain future. The Nile River dispute defines Egypt's tense relationship with Ethiopia. Egypt, utterly dependent on the Nile, views Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam as a direct threat to its survival. For Ethiopia, the dam is a symbol of progress and sovereignty, promising electricity and development for millions. Years of failed negotiations have deepened animosity. Egypt demands a binding water agreement, while Ethiopia refuses to limit its future. The GERD has become a flashpoint, pushing Egypt to seek leverage by building alliances in Ethiopia's neighborhood. This water struggle is now at the heart of a much larger regional power game. Against this backdrop, Egypt and Eritrea's relationship has transformed from quiet diplomacy to a visible, strategic partnership. What was once a discrete connection has now become a cornerstone of regional politics, drawing attention from neighbors and global powers alike. High-level visits and military talks signal a deepening alliance, with Egypt offering expertise and Eritrea providing a strategic Red Sea foothold. This collaboration is not just about military hardware or training. It's about securing influence over vital maritime routes and projecting power across the Horn of Africa. Egyptian military officials have reportedly discussed joint exercises and intelligence sharing with Eritrea, building trust and interoperability. These efforts are designed to ensure both countries can respond quickly to regional threats and to send a clear message to rivals that their partnership is robust and growing. For Eritrea, this partnership breaks its isolation and boosts its military capabilities. It also offers Asmara a chance to play a larger role in regional affairs, gaining new leverage and international recognition that had long eluded the country. The alliance expanded after Ethiopia's controversial port deal with Somaliland, which angered Somalia and drew it into the Egypt-Eritrea orbit. This realignment has created new diplomatic rifts, as countries scramble to secure their interests along the Red Sea and beyond. Summits and security pacts have solidified a new bloc on Ethiopia's flanks, raising fears of encirclement in Addis Ababa. Ethiopian leaders now face the challenge of navigating a rapidly changing landscape where old alliances are being tested and new rivalries are emerging. Publicly, the alliance claims to promote regional security, but in Ethiopia, it's seen as a strategic trap. Many Ethiopians worry that their country is being boxed in, with its adversaries coordinating to limit its influence and options. The handshake between el-Sisi and Afwerki is more than symbolic. It signals a new era of confrontation. Their public displays of unity are meant to reassure their own citizens and warn their rivals that they are prepared for whatever comes next. The region's balance of power is shifting, and Ethiopia is feeling the pressure. As alliances harden and tensions rise, the Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads, with the Cairo-Asmara connection shaping the future of the entire region. The Egypt-Eritrea alliance is driven by shared interests and a common rival. For Egypt, Eritrea offers a strategic Red Sea outpost near Ethiopia and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, enhancing Cairo's leverage in the Nile dispute. This partnership allows Egypt to pressure Ethiopia from the north, signaling that it has options beyond diplomacy. For Eritrea, Egypt is a powerful patron, providing military support, training, and diplomatic backing against Ethiopia's demographic and economic might. As Ethiopia pushes for sea access, Eritrea sees its sovereignty threatened and seeks insurance through this alliance. The partnership is a classic enemy of my enemy arrangement, leveling the playing field for Eritrea. Both sides gain strategic depth and deterrence, making any move by Ethiopia riskier. In this high-stakes game, alliances are about survival. From Addis Ababa's perspective, the Egypt-Eritrea-Somalia bloc is a direct threat, not just a defensive pact. Ethiopia sees itself boxed in, with hostile neighbors coordinating against it while it recovers from internal conflict. Military surveillance and troop buildups along the Eritrean border reflect Ethiopia's growing anxiety. The controversial Somaliland port deal was Ethiopia's attempt to break out of isolation, but it only heightened regional tensions. Ethiopia is rebuilding its navy and hardening its rhetoric, warning neighbors against destabilization. The risk of miscalculation is high. A single incident could spiral into a wider conflict. The region is on edge, with every move watched and every word weighed. Ethiopia's sense of encirclement is fueling a dangerous cycle of escalation. The Horn's rivalry unfolds in the Red Sea. a vital artery for global trade, where nearly 10% of the world's seaborne commerce passes through these narrow waters every year. The region's strategic location has made it a crossroads for centuries. But today, its importance is greater than ever. This stretch of water is not just a commercial lifeline. It's also a magnet for foreign military bases, each vying for influence and security in a volatile environment. Djibouti, perched at the mouth of the Red Sea, hosts an extraordinary concentration of military power. US, Chinese, French, Japanese, and Italian forces all maintain bases here, sometimes just a few miles apart. This makes the region a crowded chessboard, where every move is closely watched and calculated by multiple players. Gulf states like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, along with Turkey and Qatar, have also staked claims, backing different local actors and investing heavily in ports, infrastructure, and security arrangements. These external powers add layers of complexity, turning what might be local rivalries into a tangled web of alliances and competition. As a result, local disputes can quickly escalate, becoming high-stakes geopolitical contests with far-reaching consequences. Egypt's alliance with Eritrea gives it a forward presence near the Bab el-Mandeb, a choke point critical for both security and commerce. Meanwhile, Ethiopia's quest for a port is more than just economic. It's a bid to join the maritime game and secure its own future in the region. Any conflict here risks drawing in not just neighbors, but global and regional powers, raising the stakes dramatically and threatening to destabilize international shipping routes. The Red Sea is now a flashpoint where local rivalries and global interests collide, making it one of the world's most closely watched maritime zones. The danger is clear. A single local spark could ignite a much larger fire, with consequences that ripple far beyond the Horn of Africa. The Horn of Africa faces three possible futures: uneasy cooperation, cold confrontation, or open conflict. In the best case, alliances remain defensive, disputes are managed, and peace, though fragile, holds. More likely is a prolonged standoff, with proxy skirmishes, arms buildups, and constant tension draining all sides. The worst scenario is direct war, perhaps triggered by an Ethiopian move for sea access or an escalation over the dam. Such a conflict would be catastrophic, drawing in outside powers and devastating the region. The line between these outcomes is razor thin. A single misstep could tip the balance. The choices made by leaders in Cairo, Asmara, and Addis Ababa will decide the region's fate. The world watches, hoping for restraint, but fearing the drums of war are growing louder. The Egypt-Eritrea alliance and Ethiopia's anxieties have brought the Horn to a dangerous crossroads. War would devastate all sides, shattering economies, displacing millions, and creating a humanitarian crisis. The only real solution is dialogue, restraint, and a commitment to peaceful negotiation. Regional and international bodies must step up mediation efforts before it's too late. The leaders of Egypt, Ethiopia, and Eritrea face a stark choice: confrontation or cooperation. The time for brinkmanship is over. Only diplomacy can secure a stable future for the Horn of Africa.